India launched a rocket attack in Pakistan, striking at least 5 locations and killing at least 26 people. India says the attack is a defensive response that targeted terrorist infrastructure. Pakistan, however, has called it an act of aggression from India and says it has a right to respond however it sees fit. The latest flare-up between these two long-feuding countries raises the prospects of yet another hot war. Here to discuss this, U.S. Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. He's a member of 4 Senate committees, including the Select Committee on Intelligence and the Committee on Homeland Security. He is also the author of Turnaround, America's Revival, which came out last month. Senator Lankford, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Tony, thank you very much. Good to talk to you again.
Before we jump into this conflict between India and Pakistan, tell us about the book, Turnaround, America's Revival.
Yeah, this was really a challenge twofold. One is I don't want people to miss their calling. And I have a lot of people I talk to that know their career but not their calling. And they see problems around them and think I should elect somebody to go fix that. And we lose track of the just simple principle of we the people. We see problems as followers of Christ. We see problems. We ask God what we're supposed to do about it, and we engage like Nehemiah did. And somehow we're losing that. And so this is a challenge to both people that are politically engaged, people that are not, to be able to look at who we are as Americans and to ask the question, if the nation's going to turn around, it's not going to be because we elect the right person, because we actually engage in our communities to turn things around.
I like the example of Nehemiah. In fact, in our 2-year journey through the Bible, will soon be in the book of Nehemiah, is that Nehemiah, of course, it required leadership. Everything requires leadership at each level. But what Nehemiah did that was a game changer that allowed them to rebuild the wall in 52 days, a wall that had been sitting in rubble for years, was the fact that they built it in front of their homes, and they worked by families, and they took care of what was in front of them. So it's bite-sized chunks, but taking personal responsibility of right where you are.
They did. There are 2 big features there on that. One is exactly that problem. Take care of the problem right next to you. And if everybody starts working on that, we make an enormous difference. And the second thing was it's the difference between Nehemiah and Hanani. And in the very first chapter, Hanani walks in. He just came from Jerusalem. Nehemiah says, what's it like in Jerusalem? And Hanani says, well, it's terrible. The wall's down, the gates are burned down, the economy's collapsed. Hanani walked away. Nehemiah dropped his knees and prayed, says, God, what's the life out there? There's a big difference between people that say, stinks to be them. I see the problem, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And those that drop to their knees and say, God, there is a problem. What is my part?
How can folks get a copy of the book?
It is literally available everywhere. Everywhere you go, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million. It's available at Hobby Lobby. It's available at Mardell. So wherever you get a chance to get your books on it, it's there.
You know, speaking of Nehemiah, this is probably one aspect of Nehemiah you relate to. It's one that served me well in my entire public life and career, is Sanballat and Tobiah, when they send message to Nehemiah saying, hey, come meet with us in the plain of Ono. And Nehemiah says, you know what, I'm too busy. I don't have time to talk with you. And it was really a lesson to me to stay focused on mission and not listen to the critics.
It is 100% there. There are plenty of Sanballats and Tobias that are actually on social media attacking you and I both every single day, saying, come talk to me. Don't do what you're supposed to. Come talk to me. Come take my complaint. I'm going to yell at you and you're supposed to yell back. When we actually set that aside and say that's a distraction from my mission rather than what I should consume my life with, it directs you back to what we're supposed to do.
And there's so many of those distractions out there that I think are taking people, followers of Christ, away from, as you said, their calling in life to serve the kingdom. And I just think we got to be careful of what we get involved in and what we respond to. And social media can be it's quicksand. I mean, it can just suck you in and take all your energy and remove you from your focused mission.
It is. Actually, in my book, Turnaround, I actually have one of the chapters that deals a lot with social media and just how we interact with it. What do we believe? What do we not believe? It is a place to be able to share our faith. It is a tool, but it's also a place that can have great distraction and becomes a rabbit hole of anger and pulling us into all kinds of conspiracies and things that are not of God. And literally, if you look at the 3rd chapter of Titus, there's a challenge that's very specific for our day and time on how to be able to deal with some of the noise that we see in social media. And I try to highlight those things from Titus chapter 3 as well in the book Turnaround.
All right, well, I'm going to get you back on in a long segment so we can talk about the book. I'm going to read it. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to get it. I'm going to read it, and we're going to talk about it because it sounds like it's right down my alley. But let's talk now about India and Pakistan. This is a long simmering conflict between these two countries over Kashmir. But this is at a new level, and these are nuclear armed countries. I think this is something that we should be very concerned about. What do you say?
Yes, the Hindu nation that is India and the Muslim nation that is Pakistan, both nuclear armed, both pointed at each other. They're in conflict over the area of Kashmir. India dominates much of that area. Both of them claim it. And there was a terrorist attack that killed multiple Indians just last week. So India has responded with, I'm going to take out terror bases. They didn't just attack Kashmir. They actually reached in with missile attacks and actually went into Pakistan itself. And Pakistan obviously is saying they're going to respond. This is a very tenuous moment. It's a moment for President Trump and his relationship with Prime Minister Modi to be able to step up and to say, everybody take a deep breath. Let's get a chance to be able to work this out. But this is something that should be resolved diplomatically and will require American leadership as we engage with both of those countries consistently to be able to bring the volume down.
We just have about a minute and a half left, Senator, but I think people need to see this not as one-dimensional, but when we look at these countries, I mean, this is a chessboard. I mean, you've got India, and there's a relationship that we pursue with China or that counters China. You've got Turkey. You've got so many different countries lining up one side or the other.
We really do, and it's a really challenging region and great conflict possibilities there, and literally well over 1 billion people that are in that area. So high population, there are some areas of high poverty. It is a challenge in multiple ways. China and India have not done well together. They've also had skirmishes over their border as well between China and India. So it is a very challenging region and will require leadership and some diplomacy. And I would challenge even your listeners to be able to pray, because there are a lot of Christians that also live in that area as well that are caught up in two nations that sometimes receive them and many times do not.
Yeah, religious freedom is a real issue there, especially in India, which is a issue of great concern for me. 30 seconds left, Senator. What role is religion playing in this conflict between the two countries?
It certainly is playing a role there. Obviously, it's a dominantly Hindu nation for India, dominantly Muslim nation in Pakistan. As you and I both know, they face a lot of religious liberty issues. In India, they have basically a First Amendment right to freedom of religion in India, but there's been wide-scale oppression of Christians and Muslims that's happened in India for quite a while. And so this has also become a tension about the terrorism in that area, about Kashmir as well, on a religious issue.
All right, Senator James Lankford, we'll leave it there for now, but we'll talk soon.